My name is Patricia Perez, and I came to live in Dallas on October 2nd of 1965. I was 12 years old. My mother and my father had split, and my mother had to split up her children, and so she sent two of them here. She was originally from Dallas, Texas, and so she sent two of them here to live with her brother and his wife. My uncle's wife was a good friend of Juanita Craft's. They had taken millinery or hat making classes together. My aunt realized that Mrs. Craft was working with children. Well, my aunt had no children of her own, and so she helped Mrs. Craft with fundraising for the youth council and things like that. She also donated her money and time. And so the day that she picked us up at Love Field, which was Saturday, October 2nd of 1965, she said to my brother and I have someone I want you to meet. And she took us to Miss Craft. So Miss Craft is actually the first person we met in Dallas, Texas, beside my aunt. When the plane landed, and even before it landed, when we took off and we knew we were leaving New York, our family, our parents and siblings, we weren't in a very great space. But Mrs. Craft seemed to just really, make us feel lighter. She just did. We got here on a Saturday. That Monday, we went to her house to attend the NAACP Youth Council meeting, which were on Mondays then. South Dallas was really different back then. It wasn't, people who didn't live in the community had a stigma about it, but I never felt unsafe in South Dallas. I walked from my house to Madison every day, and my house was like 3 blocks down from Juanita Craft's on Atlanta Street. And even during the fall, because of extracurricular activities, I might have been walking home, at dusk. Never felt, threatened or frightened or scared of the community. At that time, the 3 big thoroughfares that I remember were Oakland Avenue, which is now Malcolm X, Forest Avenue, which is now Martin Luther King, and my high school was on Forest Avenue, Madison High School, and then Grand Avenue, which is now Al Lipscomb, and then Hatcher, which was the big thoroughfare on the other end, the Lincoln end of South Dallas, if you will. The community was thriving at the time. Every building on Oakland Avenue, Malcolm X, which could hold a business, held a business. Record shops. I remember going up there buying the 45s for $1, to buy the New Temptations record or something like that right up there. Liquor stores, of course. Churches, of course. Dry cleaners, little restaurants, barber shops, beauty shops. You name it, we had our businesses there. We had a bank in our community that was basically our bank. There was an insurance company, Golden State was here, and that was a kind of a national insurance company that was Black started and Black owned. And so it was just a thriving community. It's just very different now. And to see how it evolved, things change, especially in communities. People leave, come back, things different. When I first came to Dallas, the city of Dallas was pretty much segregated by race. My school, Madison High School, we only played intramural sports with the other Black high schools. We only had Black staff in our schools, and of course, just Black students. So everything was pretty much segregated. So, through the years, all of that changed everywhere in the nation. And the neighborhood evolved, but it never evolved back into what it had been, which was a community that was thriving. And that, to me, is kind of what is hurtful about South Dallas, because I remember it in its heyday. We all had a common cause, making things better, getting the powers that be up off of us, because certainly they had their foot on our necks. We were considered inferior. We didn't have the schools that they had. So there was a common cause. We don't have that anymore. We think we have arrived. And in certain aspects, we have. And then there's certain aspects where we have not. And so what it's like living in South Dallas now is streets with boarded up businesses, vacant lots. You know, it's a food desert. You know, you have to get to a decent. We have one grocery store for both ends of South Dallas, which is on Martin Luther King, and you have to go out of your community to get decent food and stuff. It wasn't like that back then. I personally, and I'm not sure whether this is on purpose or whatever, I do ride public transportation a lot. And it's just a service over here. And then I have the occasion to ride it in other neighborhoods in Dallas. And there's a big difference in the service. The on-time performance is not great here. And when I was a kid, it really was, because I would walk up and catch the bus on Oakland, and there's still a bus, of course, because it's a big thoroughfare through the community that runs up and down Oakland. But you could really count on, the bus schedules working even way back then. That's before we connected to trains and all of that. There's just not a lot of access to many. You have to go out of the community to have access to so many things now. I gained some, I guess, notoriety because I work at the Juanita Craft House. I'm the volunteer docent for the house. I'm there 3 days a week, and I just wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like Mrs. Craft is an unsung hero. And so my mission is to spread her legacy.